So back in 2015, I started a series where, first of all, I got to give a shout out to Jawbreaker of Playfur Cinema because he originally did a series called Furry Girl Profiles. And in Furry Girl Profiles, he would focus on anthropomorphic females that he found to be attractive, if you know what I mean. So that inspired me to kind of expand on that idea by going and focusing on all animated female characters that I know about. And thus began the Animated Girl Profile Confidential series. And yesterday I uploaded my 114th edition. But one question I'm sure some people ponder about is what exactly does qualify to be part of a series like this? Well, originally I would focus only on characters that appeared in 2D, Flash, or CG animation because, I knew who they were and I would watch the series that they were part of, or at least give it a little bit of attention here and there. But over time, I started noticing that there was a lot of regular people like myself that would, take their OC characters and put them into animation themselves. One person, for example, is called Jamie. Jamie would take her character known as J Foxfire, and she would put her through animations here and there. And then of course one of the other characters that I actually did a profile on called Purity the Hedgehog was created by a girl by the name of Auntie Moray, or Auntie Moray, if you will, or Moray, yeah, Auntie Moray. And she would put her through some animation sketches here and there. And I thought, well, they put them in animation, they put the effort in to do so. That qualifies to me to be probably focused on as in a profile edition of the series. Now I haven't done one on J Foxfire yet. That'll probably be coming very soon, but still it kind of qualified. And then when I recalled and rewatched what Eric W. Shorts had done with Amy the Squirrel, Sabrina Skunk, and Calissa the Cat, I pretty much figured, well, they qualify too because they're in animation, or he brought them to animated life. And he did it through several shorts. I think 3 shorts each for all 3 of them. And then Zigzag qualified because she appeared, even though it was a cameo of Sabrina in the form of Zigzag in Remote Possibilities, she qualified. But she also qualified the same way Sheila Vixen did, because people would take the stories of the Sabrina Online series and dub them Sabrina Online the movie in various parts. And they would go through the effort of putting sound effects, musics, VAs, if you will, voice actors, actresses. They would take the effort to put them, into the scenario to help bring the characters to life. And I think at times they would even use certain software to focus on certain, aspects of that panel's scene to really get a good index and an idea of what we were watching. And to me, when you put that much effort into something like that, that kind of qualifies as, kind of an animation in its own unique way. So that's why Sheila was able to get one. And then when you look at a character like, let's say, Demonica Veronica of the Mystic Makeover series on DeviantArt by Mr. Internet Man, I know at first that when I did it, I did a profile on her, I should say, that some would say it didn't qualify, but then later on you had a person like Trouble TRO do a re-rendering, a SFM CGI re-rendering remake of the origin story, the origin webcomic of Mystic Makeover, of how Veronica became Demonica, and as a bonus he animated the last part. And I figured, you know what, if he's willing to do that, then that qualifies as well, or that justifies the qualification, because when I did it, I kind of imagined in my mind what would it look like in animation, if you will, because I figured that would be like the next step, Mr. Internet Man could take for his character. Now there are a few exceptions here and there, there's no doubt about it, but it's also, like I just said, it's because of the fact that I see that animation could be the next step for these characters. Which brings me to the recent one I did yesterday on Chloe from the Lucifer series. Now, originally, she wasn't qualified, but when Netflix and WB and DC Comics came out with the trailer for the final season, and the last thing you see in the trailer is her and Lucifer in animated form, then that pretty much made her qualify. And then the way, as I've talked about in the Animated Girl Profile yesterday and in another video previously, when you take into the fact that she was more embracing and more embracive of the environment they're in, like she was more willing to, stay there as long as she wants, take in, the world that they were in and have fun with it, break the fourth wall if she had to, which it looked like she did kind of a little bit when she looked down her pants and went like, well, nothing's changed there, and then she just like looks at the camera or something like that. If you have a character that, as I mentioned in the video, from what I understand is more like down to earth, more of a foil for Lucifer to keep him in check, to get him to focus on certain things. When you have her letting loose, and you have Lucifer of all characters telling her, hey, we need to focus, because she's becoming unfocused, because she's playing Lucifer as an accordion, because she tossed him up in the air and he came falling on the ground in the shape of an accordion. When you have her kind of losing a little bit of focus, and it takes him to kind of snap her out of it, it definitely shows you that here's a character that's willing to let that side of her come out that possibly she never really wants anybody to see. And to me, along with what she did in the battle with the fake demon devil, if you will, to me that definitely shows that she not only qualifies because she's been animated, but she more than qualifies because I could see an animated series based on just the Chloe character. I could see that. I could see it, being done. I could see the WB being like, hey, people liked seeing Chloe in animated form. Maybe an animated series would be good, or maybe a spin-off series for Chloe would be great, and we could do a couple or few animated episodes here and there to kind of balance things out. So overall, that right there, when they did that to Chloe along with Lucifer, that qualified her to be part of this, no matter what. So to me, in the end, to get to the point, because I know I sound like I'm rambling and repeating myself, it's about 8:06 in the morning on this Sunday, September 12th. But basically, to get to the point, if any character of any kind, whether they're an OC character, whether they're a comic book character, whether they're a live action character, if you will, if they have any connection to animation, in other words, they become animated in some shape or form, then that qualifies them. No doubt about it. It qualifies them. Which I'm sure surprised a lot of people when they saw, this latest version of Animated Girl Profiles pop up, and they saw Chloe from Lucifer 6 being part of that, or Lucifer Season 6, the Lucifer series period, being part of that. At first they're probably thinking, well, how does she qualify? And then they see, the image of her in animated form, then they'll be like, oh, that's why. And again, you can look here on the YT, you can look here on, the DM, Vimo, BitChute, you name it, and you will find, all the animated clips, of, from that, one scenario in that episode. Now, unfortunately, like I said, in the confidential video I did on her, as well as in the video I did prior to that, you only get about 15 minutes worth, 10 to 15 minutes worth of animation in total. Even though Netflix pretty much primarily promoted this as being like the thing that's going to be a major part of the episode, and yet it's only there for at least 15 minutes of it, at most. And I already did a video on that, so you can check that out as well, prior to yesterday's and this one, of course. But yeah, overall, to get back on topic, that's what that, in my opinion, is what qualifies, for female characters to be part of this list. If they have a connection with animation, if they're straight out animated, like I said, in a series or a movie or whatever, or if they have some kind of brief, a run-in with animation, like let's say what Chloe did in Yabba Dabba Do Me, episode 3 of the final season of Lucifer on Netflix, or Jay Foxfire does with her character, or Aunt Moray does with her Purity character, or you know, vice versa, or whatever the case may be, or Eric W. You know, what Eric W. Shorts does at times, whatever the case may be. You know, they have a brief, you know, encounter, you know, whether it's for a short period or not, a brief encounter with animation, then they qualify. I mean, heck, there's, what was it, John Ritter's wife in the movie Stay Tuned, when they became animated mice, guess what? She qualifies. So you might see something on her down the line. But to me, this is why, you know, if you're wondering why certain female characters are a part of this, is because of the connection and the brief encounter with animation in some kind of shape or form. But that's all I'm going to say, guys, on it. Just thought I'd come on here and answer that question. I'm sure some people may have been wondering and pondering about. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, as well as during the live chat in the during the premiere. Like the video, check out my Teespring store. Again, I do apologize if I was rambling and repeating myself and feeling like I was, you know, kind of pausing for a moment because I was, you know, I was thinking about what I was going to say. You know, it's early, like I said, it's about 8:10 a.m. Pacific time on the September 12th. But again, let me know what your thoughts are on everything. And again, I do apologize for, like I said, the rambling and all that, because it's early. But let me know what your thoughts are overall. Comment if you like. Live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Check out the Teespring store. And I am out.